Hello, welcome to the Uncensored match build-up show. Liverpool taking on one of the best teams in the world in Bayern Munich. Really excited for this game, actually. I can't wait to see it. I think, Liverpool unbeaten in pre-season so far. Bayern Munich, on the other hand, little bit inconsistent. Had defeats to Inter Milan, to Arsenal, and to AC Milan as well. So not been the best pre-season for Bayern Munich so far. I think they've had a few more injuries than us, if I'm honest. It looks like Boateng, Kimmich and Vidal could be back. They picked up on their Asia tour, likes of Arjen Robben as well. Picked up an injury. He could feature in the game with us at the Allianz Arena. Bernat is still out. So they've had a bit of a struggle. It looks like Ancelotti, having a look through their formations and stuff and starting lineups, hasn't quite settled yet. Wouldn't read too much into that. It is just pre-season. He'll be using the guys to make sure that everybody gets a little bit of a run out. But I'm joined today by Ross, by Tom and by Jamie, who's fresh off the back of a completely failed attempt at a FIFA Live. So apologies for that if anybody watched it. It was our first go. You're a proper mean. There was no need for that. We knew there was an audio problem. Did you see us trying to fix it? Yes, you mean bastards. Unforgiven, like our subscribers they are. But they expect excellence and they normally get it. Don't you? Don't say that to that. Okay, we're going to get stuck into it then. I'm interested, Ross, to see how Liverpool stack up against Bayern, because I'm not bothered that they've been beaten 3 times. I'm not bothered that Arsenal have beaten them in pre-season, because we all know that they'll just beat them 5-1 in the Champions League and have done with Arsenal. We know Bayern Munich are a better side than what they're showing. Pre-season doesn't friggin' matter. But it is interesting to see your team go up against big sides regardless.
Yeah, I know you mentioned them people that were going to come back in then, and party thinks, oh, I'm glad, I hope they don't. But the other party thinks, well, we need to test ourselves against the best. We're in the Champions League this year and we're going to come up against equal ranked teams or of their ability. So I think it's a really good test. I know, so we played Wigan, Tranmere, whatever, but
we keep stepping up this level.
Yeah, keep stepping it up. Especially coming, it's less than 2 weeks till the season starts. We need to be playing these type of teams, these type of players. I think it's a proper test for people that are still fighting for first team places in our team. He's experimented a lot, so I think there's still a lot to play for in terms of rankings for our team.
Yeah, that's it. And look, they're coming towards the end of their pre-season now. They're winding it up as well. They've got Dortmund, I believe, in their version of the Super Cup on Saturday. So it's one of their final pre-season friendlies as well. They're now getting into. Now I don't know whether Bayern and Dortmund will contest that as a fixture, like our Community Shield isn't. It's still a pre-season friendly at the end of the day, isn't it, Tom? I don't know whether there's a little bit more significance to it. I'm sure Bayern will want to get one over on Dortmund. But either way, it's the final preparations for the season. It's important that you get something in the bag. It's at their home ground. They won't want to disappoint their home fans anyway. Are you expecting a very good Bayern Munich side or more of that inconsistent side that we've seen so far?
I'm expecting probably somewhere in between, to be honest. I mean, they're still getting ready to be full fitness and they probably want to get a couple of wins under the belt of pre-season before they actually start playing competitive football. Going into that Dortmund game on a loss is not going to stand well, no matter how important the game is. And it's their tournament in their own back garden. They want to do well in it.
Yeah, that's it. And Jamie, coming to you then, does the result matter from Liverpool fans' perspective?
No, but we'll do them. We will do them because basically we've upped the temper. We've upped the type of opponents that we're playing against. No disrespect to Wigan or Tranmere or Hertha Berlin, but we're playing Bayern Munich now, and then we're going on to either playing Atletico Madrid or Napoli after, I think it is, on the other side, yeah. And then, as you said, 2 weeks ago until the Premier League starts, I think the result doesn't matter, but I think we will beat them.
And what type of a side then do you expect Liverpool to come out with? The one that's going to beat them?
A strong one. Definitely, because luckily we haven't had as much injuries as we had Bayern Munich have in their side. Like I said, 2 weeks before the Premier League side, we've only got a few more friendlies coming up. We'll be starting to. When you come into August, generally every pre-season you get to see the teams that normally will start in the first Premier League game of the season. You want to get your players in there. You want to see Salah, you want to see Mane linking up together on the pitch. So they want to try and get as much minutes onto the pitch now as you can.
Well, how do you agree with that, Ross? Do you think it's going to be a side that we could see start? I mean, or is there some consideration towards, well, actually the next game's the day later. and there's a game on Saturday in Dublin, so there's travel. So you play Wednesday, you've got to travel on Thursday, or I don't know exactly when you travel. They might use the training camp in Germany until the last minute and fly over Saturday morning. But how do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be a first choice team and then maybe a backup team in the final? Because I can't see that they can play 2 games in 2 days, or unless they're doing 45 minutes each off again.
I'd like to have the same outlook as Jay had there, but I tried to do it last week and thought we'd start with a strong team, and he started Moreno, so I don't know fuck all really. One thing I would like to see from it is if Lovren and Matip are going to be our centre backs by anyone else. I think they played together once in or like half a game in all the
They were going to start against Hertha Berlin, but he obviously pulled out with a muscle injury in the warm-ups, didn't he?
That's something I want to see, because I think they need that communication and organisation between them. I think that's something I want to see more of, just generally between them two. But if they're going to be our centre backs going into the start of the Premier League, I think they need to be playing regularly together.
I think you're right.
And against that calibre of team as well. I'd rather, like Jay said, have a strong team out against Bayern Munich. And then, all right, if we win a game, we're playing in Napoli or Madrid, they're still a strong team, but then you set your start out against Bayern Munich, I think.
Okay, well, we'll just run through actually a few of the injuries that Liverpool have got. Obviously, Lovren missed the game against Hertha Berlin with a muscle strain. It's likely that he can come back in, though. It was a precautionary measure more than anything else felt in the warm-ups. Divock, exactly the same muscle. Gomez, bit of a knee injury at the moment, so it's unlikely that he'll be available. James Milner could be available for the game against Bayern Munich. It could be, time to step him back in. I think it was a quad muscle injury that he was off with. Karius can come back into the game as well, so we might see a little bit of him. So really positive that obviously I think James Milner's coming back and Karius as well. It looks like Ward will still be out, unfortunately, so it doesn't look like he's going to get any minutes this pre-season. I just wanted to say, actually, before we go on any further and we talk about the game, we normally do a little plug for merchandise or something like that halfway through the show. I just wanted to say, instead of doing a plug for anything this time around, just thank you to everybody who came to Redmen TV Live. We harped on about it for a long time. We sold out over 150 tickets. It was mental. It was absolutely brilliant. It was one of the best nights I've had as a Redmen TV fan. Just getting to meet so many of you over in Germany and from the far-flung places that you've come from and came to our show. Just wanted to say we were taken aback by the response to the tickets, taken aback by the response to the evening itself. Just a massive thank you from me for that. And I'm sure Paul would echo those feelings as well. Okay, I'm going to ask you, Tom, to put your money where your mouth is and tell me what Liverpool's side is going to be. Do your starting 11 prediction. We normally shy away from that. But
yeah, okay. Mignolet.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Matip and Lovren.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Robertson. And then Trent.
Okay.
And then midfield, Lallana, Wijnaldum and Chan. Coutinho, Firmino and Salah.
That was a very strange way of going through a starting 11. There was no... You got all the players in there and you got them all in the right positions. You went goalkeeper, 2 centre-backs, left-back, right-back. Right midfield, defensive midfield, left winger, forwards, right winger.
Yeah.
It was really interesting to see you build that team up. I was wondering where the fuck you were going to begin with.
Football manager there, isn't it?
Just going through, mate.
It was 4-3-3, I think. Yeah, I'm right in saying that. I want to see Emre Can again. We've not seen enough of them this pre-season, have we, Ross? And I want to see him against top opposition. I want to see him against the likes of Bayern Munich. So I think that's a really good side. That's the side I want to see play football. I'd be made up if we started that. Am I right in saying you only had Salah and Coutinho on there? You didn't have Mane?
Mane on the bench.
You had Mane on the bench, okay. Yeah. But you didn't mention your bench, so I wasn't to know that.
Yeah.
It's good that you've clarified it regardless.
I assumed the other players would be on the bench.
Of course.
That's what I was going for.
Of course. Yeah. I get it, Tom. I'm with you, mate. The one thing that I would change is I want to see Mane and Salah in the same side. That's the thing for me. And at some point we've got to, haven't we?
Yeah.
Is this game that game?
I'd say so, but it comes back to the argument of you're in a position where you find it difficult to pick a starting 11. To be you pick Mane and Salah, then you're leaving. You're going to leave someone out. You're going to leave Coutinho out, or you put Coutinho in field and you leave Henderson out. And
this is what happens when you build a good squad.
It's a nice problem. And now, up top, it's Who'd you put in up centre? Firmino or Solanke or Sturridge? He's just fucking everywhere, aren't they?
It's brilliant though, isn't it?
Origi as well.
Origi, yeah, he's injured, but normally you've got these players. Ings hasn't had a sniff, really, has he? Jamie, I'll come to you then, mate. If that side performs, is that side good enough to beat Bayern Munich, as we know?
Yes, but my starting 11 would be slightly different from that. The back four would be the same, the keeper as well. But then for the front three, I'd have Salah and Mane, because like I said, like you said, we need more minutes on the pitch together like that. And then Coutinho dropping down as midfield, and then probably just Henderson and Chan in there. And then you can just, because it's going to be unlimited subs anyway, or roll, with them subs. So we just have Wijnaldum in there, Grujic will probably get an appearance as well, because we've got the game the next day as well. So that team definitely is good enough to beat Bayern Munich.
I can't wait for this, and it should be a really interesting one as well, because the games are stacked, aren't they? There's one before the other, and then the final being a day later is it's a bit nuts, like. But I'm unsure of whether Liverpool go 45 minutes a half. I don't know what the rules are for the competition. I should have checked. Apologies. I know that when we were over in Hong Kong, that you're only allowed to make a certain amount of substitutions at a time and all that type of stuff. So you couldn't really make sweeping changes at half time, like sometimes in friendlies. But it should be a very good competition. And regardless, I think the team that starts this should be starting against probably Atletico Bilbao in Dublin. And then that team probably goes on to start the Premier League game against Watford. Is it away from home? Is that the first game of the season? Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this game. I really can't wait to find out what Liverpool are going to do. And, the one other thing for me that I would like to see, I've talked about Mane, I've talked about Salah. I really want to see Sturridge get a goal in pre-season, just to get that monkey off his back, as it were.
Yeah. We said before, he looks well up for this season. I think for him and just generally, fitness looks amazing so far this pre-season. I think before the Berlin game, they'd be doing like double sessions, triple sessions, but they still look bang up for the game. And I think Berlin even brought substitutes on at 70-odd minutes, which are all 19, 20-year-olds, and we still bossed it. I think the fitness of Sturridge and to get a goal is a proper test for him at Bayern Munich. And probably the best team to score against. He's going to do his confidence. And
just before we go then, Tom and Jamie, I'll come to you afterwards. Do you expect us to have signed anyone by the time the game rolls around?
No.
What about by the time the season starts?
Yes.
Who?
Van Dijk.
Van Dijk. Anybody else?
I'm hopeful. I'm not saying that I'm hoping that will happen. I'm not saying it will, but...
Yeah. Anybody else you'd like to see a signing? Because it looks like the Keita deal's dead.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Unless something comes up at the final day and then Leipzig suddenly go, oh, he wants to go now. He's not going to come. Yeah. But it would be right to the end of the window if it does.
Okay. All right, gents. Well, thanks very much for joining me. I can't wait to watch the game on Tuesday evening. We get loads of people asking us what time the game is and where you can watch it. Seriously, type those words into Google. You don't need to type them in the comments section. The comment section doesn't reply instantaneously. Google is very good at replying instantaneously. Look, comment something else. Ask us a different type of question. One that you can't get the answers from, like, Chris, what's your opinion on... You probably could type that into Google as well. You won't be getting the right Chris. But anyway, don't forget to like the video, of course. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and check back after the game for some videos from Paul, who will be out over there, and, of course, from me, who will be sat watching at the studio, very, very jealous of Paul Machin. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.